Welcome back. We are out here to do another one-shot challenge. I've hiked in on this ridge about a half a mile, a place I've never been before, winds I don't know, and we are going to take a shot across the canyon here at, give or take, I gotta range it again, about 730 yards, I believe it is. I've picked out a rock. There's not a lot of rocks. There's some open space over here, but there's not a lot of big rocks. So I've picked out a distinct spot. It's bare dirt, it's open. You're gonna be able to see the impact really well, I'm sure. It'll kick up a lot of dust. But the rock is very small. This rock measures less than a quarter MOA in diameter. So at 730 yards, I'm gonna say we have a rock that's 2 inches, maybe 3 inches across. 3 by 3, so we're aiming at basically a clay pigeon at 730 yards. And we're gonna attempt to make this shot. You can probably hear it's pretty breezy out here and windy, but that's exactly what we're looking for. We're not looking for easy shots. We're not looking for gimmies. We're looking for shots that are real environment, real world scenarios where you can't control the weather when you need to take a shot across that canyon, and you never know when that's gonna happen. And really the wind dictates your handicap. If I have a really wind still day, I might feel good on an elk out to say 1,200 yards. But if it's a windy day, I might not shoot past 800 yards. You know, and the size of game you're shooting at also makes a difference. On a mule deer, I wouldn't shoot that far. On a mule deer, all those numbers are gonna shrink because the vitals are getting smaller. So get to know your game, get out and shoot in this kind of wind. This is gusty, it's not consistent, it picks up, it lays down. So we're gonna try to shoot through less wind than we have to. But if that deer's getting away or if that elk's getting away, sometimes you don't have that luxury if you can't move closer and get a closer shot. So you have to be confident shooting through wind, trusting your bullet is going to drift or whatever it's going to do. And if you do this, you're going to be much more confident in the field when you actually have to shoot in wind, because sometimes it just doesn't feel right to hold off as much as you need to hold off. All right, I'm going to take a look at what I think we have in wind and kind of walk you through it, get down on the rifle, tell you what I'm going to dial for this shot, exactly what I'm seeing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to see if we can see any mirage. It is not that sunny right now, and when it's not that sunny, it's tough to see mirage. So let's take a look. I can hardly see mirage, even on full power. There's really nothing to see, but you can see vegetation moving around. We have a direct side wind on off my left side here, going this way. It's wide open across here, so I'm gonna assume we have that same wind steady all the way across, just because of how open it is. And I am seeing the vegetation up there. I'm seeing the branches bending this way, and I can see the shiny side of the leaves are all pointed this way. So that means we have wind up there off the left as well. All right, I'll get behind the rifle. I'll look at it one more time. Let me get my phone scope set up here. All right, so this shows you how open it is across this canyon. We're shooting right over into there. So this is why I'm saying the wind is going to be pretty consistent. It's pretty open. It's almost like shooting across the field. But we have a canyon, and we have, you know, the bullet has some arch to it with this shot. And so it's going to get up, you know, it's going to get up into here, which has more wind than probably what I'm feeling here. And I'm definitely seeing about the same wind across the canyon. So we're going to estimate about what it's doing where I'm sitting and make the shot. Let me take a look in the scope and see one last call, and then we'll take a shot. All right, guys, we are out here with nature. It's beautiful. It smells amazing. My favorite 2 scents in the world, pine and sage. It just doesn't get better than that. It just feels like elk season when I smell that. And now that I live in Colorado, I get to smell it almost all year long, and it doesn't get old. So I love it out here. We're in a real world scenario here. It is dirty, It is prickly, but we're gonna do this. But before I do that, I know some of you guys, I've spoke to some of my customers, some of you guys about this, and I appreciate all the love that I've gotten and the support that I've got. But for those of you who I have not spoke with, I have been struggling with Lyme's disease for 2 years. And I've been going here, been going there, trying to get rid of it. And I've done some things that have helped. And I feel like I'm about 50% over it. However, for the last year, it's just been basically the same. For me, it's just kind of feeling headachy and inflamed in my head pretty much 24/7. I get up in the morning and my head just feels like it's buzzing. You know, and I know there's lots and lots and lots and lots of people struggling with Lyme disease. I picked it up in Pennsylvania. I recently did a test that is a really in-depth test, and they told me that I've had it for 20 years, but it wasn't active, it was dormant, and it just in the last 2 years became active, and now I'm fighting with it and trying to get rid of it. I did find a place in Tennessee that my wife's cousin and her brother went to, and her brother went through their full program. It's a 12-week program. You have to visit once a week, and they have amazing reviews. They've been treating Lyme's for 20 years, and for the past 10 years, they say they've not had one patient that hasn't kicked it and like stayed over it. The problem with Lyme's a lot of times is it can easily come back if you don't do it right. A lot of antibiotics and those kind of things, they might kick it for short term, but the first time your immune system goes down, they're not dead. Basically, they're dormant and they'll come back. And when your immune system goes down, it's basically a signal for them to go again. But I just say that to say that I do have to go to Tennessee once a week. I'm going to try to continue my content. I just got back from Tennessee last night at 4:30. I didn't get much sleep. Had a little bit of time to slip out here. It gives me some time alone, and I enjoy this. And so that's why I'm here doing it. But it isn't free, and it's not cheap to keep running to places. And a lot of places do not cover, or insurance doesn't cover a lot of places. And so I've got a lot of money wrapped up into it. And I'm not here trying to sound, you know, like, oh, pity me, or hey, give me money. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. But I will say this: if you do want to support me and you do want to help me pay for some of these bills, if you can simply buy a bottle rest, it makes a big difference. They are handy. They are great. They are amazing to shoot off of. And if you do want to support me in this journey of trying to find real healing and get over it, that's one way you can support me. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for tuning in. I do appreciate all the comments, all the love, all the customers. It does truly make a difference. All right, let's get to this shot. Appreciate y'all. All right, 700 and some yards. Let me range it again. 720 yards, calls for 11 3/4 up. I'm gonna hold for approximately probably a 5 mile an hour wind. We have a wind call of 2.4 MOA with a full 10 mile an hour wind. So we're gonna hold about a minute and a quarter to the left for this shot. All right, the wind kind of laid down. Let me look at it with the scope one more time, and then we'll take the shot. Yeah, the wind slowed a little bit, so we're probably only going to hold about 1 MOA. Try not to shoot through a gust. That is a tiny, tiny target. All right, that felt really good. I spotted the impact, but I couldn't tell exactly because it was just a big dust cloud. So let me look at the camera on my phone scope and see where we hit. All right, so I've reviewed the footage. I'll play it in slow-mo for you. Maybe I can zoom it up for you so you can see it a little bit better, because that rock is really tiny. I'm gonna say that rock's no more than a 3-inch circle, if that. It measures right at a 1/4 MOA in my scope reticle, and I hit right under the left corner of that rock. That rock has a little bit of a V shape to it on the left side. I hit right under that little V is where that hit. It's a little bit hard to tell on the first impact because it throws up so much dust, but when you really slow it down and look, you can see right where the bullet just starts to disrupt the dust before the whole cloud comes up. So I hit right under that left corner. We would have had a dead deer at 720 yards, elk, bear, whatever we shot at, that would have been a dead animal. So we called the wind really, really close. I was trying to hit the center of the rock, so we were maybe 2-3 inches to the left, something like that, of exactly where I was aiming. I'll take that 10 times out of 10, and especially when you have a little bit of wind and shooting across something this open. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys that watch, comment. Let me know maybe what you want to see me do on my next shot, what kind of distance you want to see me shoot. Would you rather see me shoot in higher winds and keep the shots shorter, or would you rather see me shooting in lower winds and keep the shots longer? The thing is with this challenge, I'm not trying to be, you could say, stupid with it. I'm not trying to make shots that I don't think that I can pull off. So I'm not just trying to see how far I can lob a bullet. I'm actually trying to get something from this. If I wouldn't make this shot in real life, I won't make it here on YouTube. So leave me a comment. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, have a blessed day.